morning. Those of you that have been through one of my sermons before, either here or BBUUC, may have noticed a change of robes. I wanted to take a moment to explain this. We are in a period of mourning in the Correllian Church because we lost one of our beloved elders, Lady Bitterwind, last May. And until Samhain, which is the 6 months from her death, we dress in mourning robes. So these are a little bit more muted than our normal 42 different layers, but I just wanted to explain that in case you thought it was associated with the holiday. It is not. It is associated with Lady Bitterwind's passing through the veil.
So we're going to do a little ritual for you today, actually a big ritual. This is one of our high holy holidays. And we're going to do a little education along with it for those of you that are not familiar with paganism or the Wiccan faith. This is a Correllian tradition. There are many traditions within paganism, and everyone has their own twist on it. But you'll see a lot of familiar things, and if you've been to any church, you will see familiar things in this ritual. This is nothing new for you. Samhain begins at sundown in the dark half of the year. So we have a wheel of the year, and it's broken into a light and a dark half. The light half of the year is about manifestation, creating what you want in your life. The dark half of the year is more introspection, spiritual growth, looking back on what you've achieved, what you haven't achieved, and what you may need to achieve. And we also honor our ancestors at that time. So Samhain is the first holiday in the dark half of the year. And it's the witches' New Year. Not New Year's like we normally celebrate on December 31st with parties and drinking and lots of fun, although we do have fun. It's more of an introspective time, similar to Elul, the Jewish month before Rosh Hashanah. It's about introspection and spirituality. Halloween is kind of the fun Hollywood version of what happens All Souls Day, costumes, little devils running around. This is a religious holiday for us. And it's about examining what we've reaped during the year, the harvest, if you will. Focuses mainly on the ancestors that we honor, and at this time, as the earth starts to slow down and you see the foliage dying, and we think more a little bit about passing and a slow time of the year, we believe that the veil between here and our higher plane is thinner, and so communication with those that have passed is easier at this time of the year. And we can do that in a variety of ways, through ritual, through setting a place at the dinner table for our departed ones, setting up ancestor altars in your home with pictures, their favorite incense, their favorite foods, and burying apples in the yard for passing spirits. That was an ancient practice that is still practiced today. Back to you.
Okay, I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards. The nominees are. I wanted to explain a little bit about the Correllian belief of reincarnation. Reincarnation is common in many, many religions in the world. In the Wiccan world, it's very, very common. In the Correllian world, we have a little bit of different twist on it, and I think I've explained this one of the times I've visited. We believe that the higher self is that which is eternal of us. We are all from the goddess, and we all have a higher self. And this higher self follows us through reincarnation and reincarnation and reincarnation. And all the lessons that we have learned in each life cycle are stored in the higher self. So you don't have to learn those again. You get new lessons. But this higher self is always accessible to us. Whether you are in the Summerlands, resting and retrospecting, or whether you have been reincarnated and you're off living your new life, that higher self is always there for us to connect to. And we start this training in our first degree, first lesson on how to work with psychic abilities to be able to connect with that higher self. Now, why would you want to do all that connecting after somebody's gone? Well, selfishly, you may want to visit with someone who has passed through the veil. I have a birthday party with my mom every year on the astral plane for her birthday. Also, you may want to get guidance. You may want to bounce something off of an elder. You may want to be at a crossroads and need advice from someone who has learned lessons that you may not have. So we use the term disincarnate to describe those that don't have a physical body at this time, and incarnate to those who do. And we don't believe that there's any difference between the activities of those two groups. That the disincarnate can give us advice, answer our questions, aid us, and offer guidance. And this is why ancestor veneration and ancestor communication is such a huge part of the Carillion tradition. Ancestor altars. We have one example over here, and you will see our beloved Carillion ancestors there. And you'll see the flowers that are the favorite of the ancestors. Often we use skulls to represent ancestors. My son walked into my house one time, he says, "Mom, what's with all the skulls?" Well, it was all ancestor veneration. So while we don't think of skulls as macabre, we think of them as a representation of the ancestors. A lot of times people ask you to take something on faith. This is take this on faith, just believe me. I have actually experienced this. As I say, I do a birthday party for my mom every year on the astral plane on June 14th for her birthday. I talk to her every day. When I do my devotionals in the morning, when I pay tribute to my patrons, I also venerate the ancestors. Lady Wendy, you will see on the ancestor altar, there's a little spider. She was the head of the Web Weaver Order, which maintains the crystal web, which if you want more information on that, you can ask me after the service. But she passed through the veil a year ago at Luganasa. And she was very involved with this crystal web. And we have a crystal web altar at Chosen Path Church. And we'll be in the middle of doing ritual, and all of a sudden somebody will say, "Well, Lady Wendy's joined us." It's because we've got that access point, and she's drawn to that access point. So you actually can see them on this plane, or you can visit them on the astral plane. I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Bowen, who is going to explain what you're about to see so that you're not caught blind. You kind of know what you're looking at. And he's going to explain the parts of a Carillion Wiccan ritual.
Ritual 101 in a nutshell. Like I said, individual traditions vary. This is what we do. We normally stand as body or spirit is able during a large part of our service and to work with the energies. Doing our act of power, which we will describe later, we sit for that. So you're willing to stand, that's great. If you're not, just stand in spirit with us. Our goal is to educate and inform you about Wicca, not to offend anyone in the audience. This is just a learning experience for you. This is what we do on a regular basis. When we invoke the goddess and the god, we believe that deity shows itself to everyone as they need it the best. So if you have a deity you work with, if you have universal power, if you want it to be just love, when we're invoking God and Goddess, just bring that energy into the circle. We believe it's all interconnected. So run through the quick parts. We're going to cleanse and charge the area. This comes back from the day when oftentimes pagans didn't have facilities, they didn't have churches or temples. They had to make do wherever they were, so we created a sacred space on the fly. We still do this at our temple, even though it's been done many times because it's part of our tradition. So we'll be saging and we'll be cleansing. If you've been in a Catholic or Episcopal church, it's the bells and smells. Get you there. So after we do that, we will actually cast the circle, which is creating an energetic space so that this space for a time is away from the regular world and is sacred. We invoke the quarters, which are the 4 cardinal directions, because we believe that they have specific energies that help us in our ritual working, and so we'll be doing that. We invoke the god, the goddess, and the ancestors. We're not summoning them, we're asking them to help participate in our work. Then we have our active power, that's the meat of the ritual, that's the reason we're here, and we'll explain that as we get into it. Normally we do a prayer circle within our ritual for any of our members that need anything, that want to celebrate. It's like the carrying candles, joys and sorrows. So in lieu of that, we've got the joys and sorrows here today, but at this particular point, we would do a prayer circle. Then we do what we call cakes and ales, which we call coffee hour, because after working with energy, you need to ground yourself. So do not leave this ritual without getting something to eat down there to ground yourself. We don't want anyone feeling lightheaded and going home and not being able to sleep. So we're going to work some energy today, and that's the way we ground ourselves. After the ritual is over, we will devoke or release the god, goddess, and ancestors and the quarters, and then Reverend Laurie will open the circle, bringing the sacred space back into regular space, and that will be the end of the ritual.
Okay. Before I start the ritual, I want to point out a very strong Correllian belief. There's no wrong way to do a ritual. However you are led, that is spirit leading you, and you just go with the flow. Right and left in the Wiccan world is very important. The goddess kind of inhibits the left, and the god kind of inhibits the right. Or did I get that backwards? No, I got that right.
All right.
So we arrange the altar as we are working with it. And as you see it from the other side, obviously it's reversed. So don't let that hang you up if you're a pagan saying, oh, they got the altar backwards. No, it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish, okay? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like everybody, are we on? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'd like everybody to take 3 deep breaths with me. So I want you to take a deep breath and breathe in the love of the goddess and breathe out all that inhibits you. So let's start. Breathe in the love of the goddess. Breathe out all that inhibits you. Breathe in the love of the goddess. Breathe out all that inhibits you. And that kind of grounds you in the moment.
Cast out all negativity in this water and bring in only positive energy. I cast out all negativity into this salt and bring in only positive energy. Purity into purity, and purity be blessed.
So would it be.
I cleanse this space. 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 I cleanse this space.
Behold, I cast out all negativity from this fire and bring in only positive energies. Behold, I cast out all negativity from this air and bring in only positive energies. I charge this space. 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 Behold, the space is cleansed, the space is charged. I do cut apart this sacred space from the mundane world. I create a space where only love may enter. So mote it be. If you would like to join us in standing and facing the quarters, we will start in the east, which is roughly where the air conditioner control is.
And then we'll move kilometers. Guardians and watchtowers of the east, the powers of air, intuition, knowledge, and wisdom, we ask that you come to our right this afternoon and give us your energies. We bid you hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
To your right, which is the south.
Guardians of the watchtower of the south, passion, manifestation, action. We ask you to join us today in the sacred Samhain rite. We bid you hail and welcome.
Hail and
welcome.
Guardians of the watchtowers of the west, the seat of our emotions. We ask that you join us in this rite and give us your strength. We bid you hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
And the center candle.
Guardians of the watchtower of the north, stability, structure, strength. We ask you to join us today in this Samhain rite. We bid you hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
And if you'll turn facing us.
Beloved Mother Goddess, you who were before all things, you who will exist after all things are gone, you who are part of each of us, we ask you to join us today in this Samhain rite as we honor our ancestors that come before us and those that will come after us. Please join us and give us your wisdom and guidance. We bid you hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Beloved Father God, God of the hunt, in your resting period, we ask for your strength because we know the light will come again. We ask that you come to our Samhain rite. We bid you hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Beloved ancestors, as we celebrate Samhain, we celebrate you. We thank you for your continuous guidance, continuous love. May the path between us always be open. We ask for your guidance today in the Samhain ritual. We bid you hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Alrighty, you can have a seat. Feel free to have a seat. There are many different ways to venerate the ancestors. Reverend Bowen spoke of some of them. There's many, many more. We believe as long as your name is remembered, you are still with us. And on Samhain, we usually have a way of acknowledging our ancestors. I'm going to invite you. We would like you to come this way. So starting at the back of the room, come forward, and then, as each, well, they won't be able to see each row. Starting at the front of the room, that way you'll be able to see each row. Come up and light as many candles as you want to remember those that you would like to honor today. Feel free to say a little prayer, whatever you want to do. Say, hey, whatever. But this is your opportunity to thank the ancestors for the guidance that they have given you, either in the incarnate state or the disincarnate state. Everybody good on that? Then after everybody's had that opportunity, then we'll come back here to the main altar, and when you're done lighting your candle, go back to your seat and sit down and rest. Okay? And kind of just meditate on those people you have honored. Okay, I will lead it off. Let's take a few moments and meditate on those who have gone before us, to offer them thanks and appreciation and love.
Every soul that's inside from a distant shore has a dream to return home once more. Every day that goes by without ever asking why, you
Thank you so much to the sound people. When Reverend Bowen picked out the music for today's service, he sent it to me to preview. And when I played this song, I could see myself kissing my mother's brow. So I hope that you all felt that same connection with your loved ones. I need a minute to compose myself here. A little teary-eyed. Beloved ancestors, thank you for the guidance that you give us every day, but particularly today as we celebrate the wheel of the year beginning anew with a whole new year for introspection, discovery, and then moving into the light half of the year, manifestation and action. Please come with us on this journey as the wheel turns. We thank you for your presence here today. Go if you must, stay if you will. We bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Beloved Father God, we thank you for being here with us in this Samhain rite. We look forward to the time when you return in your full glory. But for now, keep us safe during the dark times as we work through our spiritual development. Stay if you will, go if you must. We bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Beloved Mother Goddess, thank you for joining us today at our sacred Samhain rite. Thank you for the wisdom and love that you always show to us. Thank you for the guidance towards our spiritual growth. We thank you for being with us today. Go if you must, stay if you will. We bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
If you'd like to stand as we work our way back through the quarters in reverse direction, that center candle over there is roughly north. Guardians of the Watchtower of the North, thank you for joining us here today, providing us your strength and stability. We appreciate all that you bring to us, and we ask you, stay if you will, go if you must. We bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
To your left. Guardians of the Watchtowers of the West, Power of Water, we thank you for attending our rite this afternoon. Stay if you will, go if you must. We bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Guardians of the Watchtower of the West, Water, Integration. We thank you for being here today at our Samhain rite. Help us integrate ancestor veneration into our daily lives as we go through the wheel of the year. We ask you, stay if you will, go if you must. We bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Once more to the left. Guardians of the Watchtowers of the East, wisdom and knowledge, the power of air. We thank you for attending our rite. We ask that you go with us this afternoon and remind us of the wonderful things that we have received this year. Stay if you will, go if you must. We bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
And then turn back towards the altar.
I rejoin this sacred space to the mundane world. Let the wisdom and love that was found in this circle go with us always. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Woohoo!
You survived your wicked ritual.
I'd like to, you all can sit. Thank you. I want to thank you all for A, your religious tolerance, B, for being with us here today, for making the effort to be here. Reverend Bowen and I are going to kind of hang out up here. Reverend Bowen will be here at the main altar. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, either about the faith or how the altar is set up and why, feel free to come up. I will be over at the ancestor altar. If you want to talk through any grief or sorrow that you have related to an ancestor passing, or you want to tell me about your ancestor that you venerated today, I would love to hear it. I can also explain the altar. After the questions, we will rejoin everyone downstairs for cakes and ale. Please, please, please do not leave this property without eating or drinking something. You can be lightheaded after a pagan ritual because there's a lot of energy created. It also can block your chakras. So you don't want anybody getting blocked or sick. It's very important that you go down to the social hall and at least have a cookie and a sip of juice or some water. Okay? Thank you very much for being with us today.